Well, lifelong bonds can be built on the battlefield and while out to sea. But for this next group of veterans, they've known each other since they were in high school. They're graduates from the old Brownsville High School on Palm Boulevard and all went to serve in the Vietnam War. Over time, they lost track of each other, but with the passing of time, they slowly reconnected with a new mission. Our Daisy Martinez has the veterans' voice, Warriors United in Arms.
So in 1967 from Brownsville High, when I went to Vietnam, I was the oldest guy in my unit. I had just turned 23, and I was considered the old guy because all the guys that I had in my squad, they were 18 and 19. I think I might have had one or two that were 20, but you know, I was a senior man. I was the old guy.
Tony Garcia was only 18 years old when he joined the Air Force. So at 23, he was the old guy in his unit. When the average age of American military men serving in Vietnam was only 19, he was the one others looked up to. The retired U.S. Air Force sergeant was one of thousands of Alley men and women who served in that war.
I served a total of 12 years. I served in the Air Force, and I really loved it. I flew halfway around the world on different types of missions, but the most that's most dear to my heart was when I landed in Da Nang, South Vietnam, on Christmas Day, 1970. And I thought I was going to be going home for leave, but I went somewhere else.
Garcia returned to the Rio Grande Valley. Years later, he would run into a former classmate and fellow veteran.
When we started talking, and he said, well, I know where this guy lives. And then I made contact with that other person. And then he says, well, you know, remember this guy? I said, yeah, I remember him. Well, he's married to my cousin. And it kind of snowballed, you know. This guy knew this guy, and this other guy knew this other guy.
The group of veterans came together and created Warriors United in Arms. The nonprofit helps fellow veterans when they fall on hard times. They've provided financial assistance to fix a broken car, to providing a badly needed wheelchair ramp. They help wherever they can.
We have paid for about 10 funerals during the pandemic. We had 3 veterans that lost their homes due to fire, and they all happened at Christmas time or on New Year's Day. So we were able to get them into a hotel and buy them groceries, clothing.
Warriors United in Arms is a small group with a big heart. The 64 members provide hospital beds to sick veterans. They've partnered with Home Depot to give heaters to vets during cold weather.
Anything that we can, we help, whether it's financial or sometimes we even guide veterans through the VA system on the medical side for PTSD or traumatic brain injury and things like that. So we're taking phone calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Nearly 3 million Americans served in Vietnam and more than 58,000 were killed. Of that number, 28 men were from Brownsville. To pay tribute to all those who served, the group purchased a Vietnam-era Bell Huey helicopter and donated it to the city of Brownsville for public display. The helicopter is named Hope, Esperanza in Spanish.
We named it Hope because it was a hope of all the wounded guys that they would get to the aid station or the hospital within an hour. They used to call that the golden hour. And if you were able to be transported via helicopter from the battlefield into an aid station or the hospital, your chances of survival were 99%.
For Veterans Voices, I'm Daisy Martinez.
And much of the cost to buy the helicopter was paid for by a Brownsville businesswoman who wants to remain anonymous. The group operates on donations just like hers. If you'd like to see the Huey, it's now part of the permanent park over at Veterans Park in Brownsville next to the Central Public Library. This is just one of the many stories from across the valley featured in our Veterans Voices special. You can catch an encore presentation of it tomorrow at 5 p.m. right here on CBS 4.